Hello!
Hi there.
Welcome to another episode of Rox TV's ROXcast. The ROXcast. You've already heard the theme tune. How we doing? Are you okay? Good. Glad to hear you've had a good time over the last couple of weeks.
You've been doing that, really?
No way. Look at you, you little doer. Little superstar doer you.
You keep on doing what you're doing.
You just keep doing that. Well done. Look at you doing stuff.
We're proud of you.
Anyway, we are here to talk about all things music and more music. Because that's what you come here to listen to.
Correct.
As well as our luscious voices.
Going to talk about the radio and all things beautiful.
This isn't any ROXcast. This is the Rox TV ROXcast. So today, we've got a little treat. It's coming up in a beat.
And it's gonna be sweet.
Oh, making sweet music. I'm Andy.
I'm Will.
And you are joining us on a rather special day today because we're talking to you guys specifically you, if you are interested in being a musician or being involved in the music industry in any kind of way. Because today, we're talking about work. Work.
I'm coming at you in 3D.
One day we'll be in 3D. One day you'll be able to watch this in VR. Yeah.
You probably already can.
No,
Sickos.
we're not recording in VR, so it'd be hard to watch it in VR. You'd be watching like a cinema. If you are watching in VR, hi! But if you're not watching, that means you're listening. And
if you're not listening, that means we haven't done enough work.
we haven't got you interested yet. So, yep, as per usual, you're the beautiful hosts of the ROXcast, me and Will, are coming at you not live, but pre-recorded as often as we can on all kinds of platforms and services. You'll be able to find us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, if you like social media, iTunes Music or Apple Music, whatever they're doing over there these days. Did I say Spotify? Did I say YouTube? All of the services, you can find us. All of those, and you'll find us there as often as we think. And if you don't want to hear us just talk for 45 minutes or however long we talk, then you can see us do funny stuff and look at our channel and stuff and see us like essentially just challenge each other to random stuff.
And destroying our hopes and dreams simultaneously.
Who doesn't want to watch that? But ow. I'm just full of theme tunes today. I like it. So today, like we say, we are here to talk to you about how it is to be a musician in the music industry. I've got some various experience. Will's got some various experience. Between us, we have good experience. But you're not just going to hear from us. We do have a special guest join us today. But we'll find out more about that later.
For now, we're here to talk about the music industry and what we think the current state of the music industry is in, which is
we're not pros by any means. We make our living in the music industry. We own a business in the music industry. But there's obviously always people who are higher up the chain, and you'll find that. But we just want to talk about our experiences and what we've done to get what we're doing, to kind of maybe even help you guys if you guys are watching this going, I want to be a musician. And then we can be like, yo, this is how you be a musician. So obviously,
because it's not all sunshine and rainbows, folks.
It's not all crowd surfing. It's not all
crowd surfing. I'm more lurking, Birkin.
Crowd lurking, Durkin. It's not all crowd surfing and groupies, guys. Yeah, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not all playing the music that you love. It's lugging gear. It's spending a lot of time in green rooms. It's playing to next to nobody.
Oh yeah.
But it's about putting the slog in. So we're going to talk about our separate experiences. So we both kind of come from different angles of the music industry. I'm very much into the function and cover circuit. So you're doing your wedding and party bands. Will, you're a lot more into your original kind of side of thing, playing your local scene.
Yeah, I got an originals band called Colosseums.
Yo.
A little bit of a plug.
What up, Coliseum guys? Because we know you're watching.
Oh yeah, they do watch this actually. Yeah, they do.
Oh.
So guys, you better make note of the fact that I just plugged us right now.
Plugged. Check out their new single, Done, available now on Spotify.
Hell yeah.
So, so we're very much coming at it from different sides of the industry. So, Will, I want to talk to you about your experiences first, because I think the majority of the listeners are going to be like, I want to be in a band, and I want to be doing well in my band. And your band is doing quite well for itself. You guys have just signed a management deal. You've got tours planned and stuff like that, as well as a few dates here and there, as well as you're currently recording the new EP?
We don't really know if we're doing an EP or album just yet. We think that a lot of bands and musicians kind of think that the way to do something is write a bunch of songs, put it in their collective, and release it, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of taking it from the approach now, and I'm pretty sure Drake did a very similar thing.
Learning from Drake,
one of the best. He literally just releases singles. Like, he releases all his songs as singles, or I think he did. I mean, he might not have done this for his new album, but he did it not too long ago. And he put videos to all the singles, and then put a collection out, whether that be an EP or album or whatever. And we're kind of taking that approach. I think a lot of bands out there neglect platforms like YouTube a lot, and like the social media aspect. I mean, obviously Facebook likes and Twitter and Instagram are all important.
Yeah, everyone's very much you need to get your socials done, your Instagram, make sure your following is there, just in any part of the music industry really, because you need to make sure that your voice, your sound, your energy is being heard. Yeah, and I'm not coming at that in like a spiritual kind of way, just literally what you're about is getting heard across as many platforms as possible. So back in the old days, it used to be a case of play a venue, a talent scout or an A&R guy is there, and bam, you get signed if you liked them, and then you blow up and you do the world tours.
For all the kids that are out there watching this and they're listening to their mom and dads being like, just go and play as many shows as you want and they'll sign you. Let me just tell you firsthand.
It's only half the story.
That doesn't even exist anymore. That's not a thing at all. Like, whoever's telling you that you need to go play a pub to get signed is lying to you. That is not what happens.
It's not the way things work anymore.
If you think Post Malone or anybody like that played at a venue and then all of a sudden someone went, oh, he sounds sick, let's pick him up and sign him, that's just not that's not the state of the industry. What happens now is that, like we were saying about the social media kind of aspect of the industry, what you need to do is make sure that your likes, your views, and your listens are even across the board. Because if they're not, labels and talent scouts and A&R guys and agencies are going to look you up, because they can do that now. We've got the internet. They're going to look you up, and if it's not the same across the board, they're going to know that you paid for like YouTube views. Yeah. And if it doesn't add up with your Spotify listens, they're not going to sign you, or they're not going to. So it's all about organic reach on that side of things.
It's all about your presence. It's all about making sure that you're getting as much organic kind of following as possible, because that's what's going to bring the money in now. So you're streaming. So music has gone streaming. That's just fact. Everyone has a Spotify account, Deezer, Apple Music, whatever you're using, Mixer. You tend to be streaming, which means album sales, hard physical sales have dropped. Even if it's a case of downloads, people aren't downloading that much anymore. So people need people like labels and agencies and A&R guys need to know that you've got your organic reach to start off with, because the less work they have to do, the more of an asset you are.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like management companies especially, they need to know what you're kind of worth to them. And I'm lucky enough to know a guy that works in quite a big management company, and one thing that is kind of neglected is the fact that your likes and subscribers or whatever it may be isn't so important. It's all about the interaction. What are people responding? What are people commenting? How are you engaging with that audience?
Yeah,
what are your Instagram messages like? Are you getting loads of Instagram messages?
How are you treating your communities? Basically,
because that means that, okay, so for example, from a management kind of perspective, they would turn around and be like, okay, cool, so these guys are worth putting on tour because there's so many interaction in these places, and it's going to be beneficial. The way you're not going to go on tour, or you're not going to get the most out of a tour if you're just going to go on tour. I think a big kind of, and this kind of happened to me, I think a lot of people don't realise that it costs a lot of money to go on tour. Yeah. You got to remember, you got to pay for a van. Sometimes you have to pay for a driver if none of you drive.
Places to stay, venue
food,
hire,
venue hire. Maybe not so much, but you do have to do it.
If you're trying to get to those bigger, so even
you got to pay the promoter, the tour manager. There's so much more.
Backline rental, merch, and there's so much that you actually need to fork out for. And
so what you need to do is, like, when you're being put on tour, you need to kind of like make sure that it's worth the money that you're investing. Essentially, you don't have to get it back. Let's say you're getting a tour with Foo Fighters and it's costing you way more money than you're getting, but then you're paying for the exposure. Yeah. Then, and it's things like that. So
everything's going to be treated as a business decision now, and we know that some of the guys out here, I mean, if you're in college or you're in high school, you're not going to be looking at me like, yeah, everything's a business. You just want to play your music, but you do have to have that savvy about you. You have to have that understanding of kind of gains and returns. What are you getting out of it? And not just financially, like, what are you getting out of it exposure-wise, experience-wise? If you are playing in a rather big venue, but or supporting an act bigger than you, but then you have to pay for it. If it's worth that exposure, then why wouldn't you?
There's a big thing at the moment, and it's kind of even with popular bands, like even bands that are doing quite well in their scene, is a thing called buy-ons. Now, if you don't know what buy-ons are, it's buy-ons, by the way. If you don't know on
BUY dash on.
If you don't know what a buy-on is, basically what can happen, and it happens way more than you think it does. Let's say a big band came to my hometown or whatever. I wanted that support slot. You can message the agency, the band, the manager, whoever you want, and ask for an investment opportunity. So you basically, you are paying to play. And obviously I know a lot of that can be really, really frowned upon in local. If you're doing that locally, do not do that. But if you're paying for a big support slot, a lot of people do that, and it's quite an underground thing that nobody really knows about. But it's becoming more and more popular, and it's the way to get bigger shows, bigger tours.
Yeah. And of course, they've got no problem with you taking your own merch, so it could be that you make the money back if you put on a good show. So
totally.
So if you have to like spend £200 to support a band that's a couple of rungs up the ladder higher than you, and you sell 10 t-shirts at 20 quid or 20 t-shirts at £10, you make your money back.
Yeah, so if an American band comes over to the UK and they're doing like a show in your hometown, or they're doing like a tour circuit, then you can pay up to like $1,000 to $2,000 maybe. Now that's a lot of money, but you got to remember what the size of the venues they're going to be playing. If they're playing like big academy shows where they're pulling 1,000 cap venues, then it's going to be worth your money, because if you sell to every single one of those people, it's going to be 10 times more than what you've just been spending. So it's understanding. Yeah, overall, it's about understanding the business aspect of being in a band or being an artist, so you know the steps you need to make. Essentially,
everything we're saying applies to solo artists as well. If you're looking to build and generate your following, it's all about social media now. YouTube. Everyone knows that Justin Bieber came up through YouTube. That's how he was discovered, and it's very much given rise and given way to the YouTube artist. It's a good way to get a following. It's by no means the way to get discovered anymore, because there are, no matter what you're doing, guaranteed there's at least 200 people doing the same thing. So
I think it's going to be way more.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking worldwide, we're possibly talking thousands of people doing the same thing. So it's all about making sure that you're and I know it's easy for me to just say stand out.
It does matter.
It's about.
I won't say the artist or management, but there was an artist that I know of who they do all their own. He does all his own management and booking and everything, but he does it under like a separate name, so it seems a bit more professional. And what he did was he messaged loads of like way out of his league management companies, asking just simply, "What can you do for me?" Yeah. Now, obviously, don't do this because a lot of management companies, if they don't know you, they're going to be like, who is this guy? Like, who has the audacity to message me and be like, what can you do for me? But it got them talking. They all communicate, all these different management companies.
They all talk to each other, which means then they're kind of going, well, we want him. No, so we want him. What are you going to do? Yeah. Suddenly now there's a bidding war.
So you need to have something that you've got to remember that you have to apply the analytics and the business side of it too, but you need to have something that's going to make you a bit more unique and stand out, because they're going to remember you, and that is still a really important aspect of the music industry.
Yeah. So speaking of making it in an originals band, we've got a special guest with us today. Not physically in, but we're very lucky to have scheduled a phone conversation with him. So in a few moments, we're going to have a guy who's in a band that you might have heard of. They've made it rather big in America. They've done some pretty impressive things, sell-out tours in America, Japan, recently in Australia.
They've toured with the likes of Foo Fighters. They've worked with Kesha, Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel. They've done amazing things.
We're talking about really quite high profile, and we're very lucky to
almost a little bit out of our league, I just say.
We reached out and he said yes, and we were like,
what do we do now?
What's the deal?
So we'd like to
very much
we'd like to get him on the show. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So we're going to be speaking to Adam from a band called the Struts. So we're going to be speaking to him in the phone now. So without further ado, here we go. How are we doing, ladies and gents? We are here and we are live with Adam Slack from the Struts. How are we doing, Adam? You right?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Good, not too bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being with us. You're actually our first ever ROXcast guest.
Yeah, you're our first ever interviewee.
Oh, yay.
I mean, it doesn't get much bigger from here, does it really? You've made it now. You've made it now. So for those of us who don't know, Adam is the lead guitarist from the exceptionally talented band The Struts. They've toured with the likes of Kesha, the Foo Fighters. They've played big old shows like the Victoria's Secret fashion show, places like The Tonight Show with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Fallon. There's too many Jimmys. So thanks for being on the show. We're really happy that you've come. Are we right in thinking you just got back off an Australian tour? About 3 or 4 dates in Australia, yeah?
Yeah, I got back this morning.
Really? So fresh off the plane?
Yeah, basically.
How were those shows?
Yeah, it was really good. We've been away for about 10 weeks. We did the US first, and then we went to Japan to Summer Sonic Festival, and went down to Australia for 4 shows, which was really cool.
Wicked.
It's been really good. Australia is our first headline tour there, so that was cool.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
So first headline tour, and you've got 3 kind of major demographics out the way, so America, Japan, and then Australia as well. So was it a good kind of turnout? What kind of shows were you playing? Was it arenas kind of thing, or?
Oh, no. I wish. But no, this is just starting in Australia. So we're doing like 1,000 cap rooms.
Wow.
America was the biggest tour we've done so far. Like, it was the biggest rooms. Like, the biggest sellout we had was in New York. We did like 3,200 there, which is really cool.
That's amazing.
It's got to be pretty cool, like, because it's a headline tour. So they're there to see you. So that's got to be a pretty cool thing, seeing that many people in a room to see you play your music. That's got to be a pretty interesting kind of feeling.
Yeah, it's great. It's been 4 years of touring basically now, and it's mainly America, and it's really starting to pay off, which is cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
But we've been doing it for years. We've been to 45 states now.
Really?
Right.
Wicked.
You just got to tick off the other five. Five? How many states are there? Is there 50 states?
Yes, we've got 5 to go.
Yeah, I was going to say,
okay.
yeah, I got that right. There was a brief panic then where I thought there wasn't that many, but, you know, geography.
We were just on the way down to work this morning. We were just watching your video of the cover of Dancing in the Street. I mean, the video was great. It's really colourful and fun. We really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I really like the arrangement that you've done on that as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, how did that kind of come about? How did they approach you, or what how did that come about?
He basically dodged cars in America. Basically came to us and said, you know, we want this song in the version that Van Halen had covered it, and I said they'd covered it, and I listened to it, and he basically covered it, put our own little spin on it. Luke sang it a bit more soulful than David Lee Roth did, and then, you know, and just did that, and we recorded it, didn't think anything of it, and then they got back to us saying, yeah.
Wicked.
That's
So
commercial in America, so...
That's so cool, like, to have people actually come up to you and ask you to do stuff for them. That's just awesome. So
yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. So we just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk to you about the Struts, like how you guys actually became what the kind of phenomenon that you are now. I mean, like you say, you've just come off essentially what is 4 years of touring. So how's it been kind of going from kind of your local kind of hometown heroes in Derby going up to playing places like LA, Australia, Japan? How's that kind of transition been?
It's just basically 2014, our album came out in the UK, it didn't really do anything, and we were about to get dropped from our record label, and our management wanted us to be, they basically said, I think you should be more of a pop band, and we just realised that we should change our management. I messaged a YouTube guitar teacher who I was friends with in LA, and I just said, do you know any managers? And through a friend of a friend, ended up finding this new management team, and then I flew out to America to meet with them, and thought they were great, and then we signed with them, and then they took our song Could Have Been Me to radio in America, and just after we got dropped in England, and it started blowing up on the radio over there, so then we ended up getting a few record deal offers in America.
No way.
And then we ended up signing with Interscope, and
That's
then
crazy.
We booked a US tour in 2015, and it all sold out straight away. It was like small clubs, like 3 venues and stuff. And then we just went there and did that, and then, like you said, we did the Jimmy Kimmel show, and then we ended up opening up Motley Crue at the end of 2015 at their last 4 shows. And then it just kind of been doing that and just constantly touring and just, releasing new music.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say that, like, it seems like it's been quite a, almost like despite it being 4 to 5 years, it's been quite a quick process.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I bet it doesn't.
I'm never at home.
Yeah,
and
that's the
I'm only
problem.
home for 9 days now, and then we go back out on tour in Canada and the northeast of America. So it's just relentless, really. I mean, it's great, but it's just we're just doing it the old-fashioned way, which is just basically constantly touring.
Yeah. And it's a good way to go. So, I mean, you must spend, obviously, a lot of time. Is it kind of just your typical bus tour, kind of everyone's crammed in on a bus, just getting to places and going, gigging, and getting on the bus straight away, going to the next place? Is that kind of setup?
That's basically it, yeah. You play the show and then sleep on the bus while the bus drives, and then wake up in the new city, play the show, get on the bus, and then
that's awesome.
Doing radio promo and in between and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's just full on.
Yeah,
it's very weird coming back home to Derby, and
I can imagine that it gets a bit full on. Do you guys manage to fit in songwriting on? Do you tend to songwrite on tour, or?
We do a bit, but we're usually on our off day. When we're not on tour, we do most of the writing.
Okay.
Because it's just, you don't have much time, really, to be writing. It's hard to feel creative when you're constantly surrounded by people and...
Yeah, I can imagine.
You got
it's quite full on.
X, Y, Z all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing a bit of fanboying a little bit, and I know that you guys have been kind of hinting at maybe new music coming in the next maybe a couple of months or maybe a year or so.
Yeah, we're working on it. We went to Dave Grohl's studio in LA and recorded 6 songs earlier this year.
Oh, great! Okay.
And then we're writing next week, and then in November, December, we're going to be in the studio as well.
Oh, that's great! Awesome. So we should
hopefully have something out early next year.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, everyone's going to be excited for new music. Yeah. So how does that kind of creative process work for you? Is it a kind of everyone just gets in together, or does someone come up with the licks, someone comes up with the kind of rhythm, or is it just a case of everyone's in, you're locked in the studio, and you don't leave until you got your album?
It's kind of, we work with producers, or we work. Yeah. So I'll have an idea, or Luke will have an idea, or it's different every time, really.
Yeah.
I think this time could probably just be the 4, just locked away for a bit and just see what comes out of it.
Yeah. And I suppose it means that you get a good kind of wide range of influences as well, because you are working with different people. So it means that the music appeals to the masses, which is what you want.
Exactly.
Adam, we're actually a part of a music academy. We're called ROX Music Academy, and we have a lot of aspiring musicians of all ages. We were just wondering, what kind of advice would you give to like musicians just starting out? They're interested in putting music out into the world. They're just getting into a band. What advice would you give to those people?
I think the main thing is just write as much music as you can. And then just try and talk to as many people as possible. Like, send your stuff out to getting a good management team is the main thing.
Yeah.
One thing I found was just constantly badgering people by email or text or phone call. I just annoy people politely.
It's exactly like you put it, annoyingly polite. That's a great way of putting it. Just making sure that, I suppose, surrounding yourself with people that make you want to kind of do that, and being mates with your bands and all that kind of stuff, it all kind of helps, surrounding yourself with people who give off the same kind of energy, same kind of vibe.
Yeah, like finding people that believe in what you do and stick to your guns. People have tried to change this so many times, like, oh, don't wear this, you should look like this, when we first signed our first record deal, and we did it to a certain extent, and it was actually staying true to ourselves, which actually got us anywhere, So
good stuff.
Just sticking to your guns, really, and believing in what you do is amazing.
And I think nowadays as well, in the current kind of climate of the music industry, it is a lot about networking and who you know and all that kind of thing. So I guess reaching out to as many people as possible, meeting as many people as possible is probably a good way to go about it, I think.
Yeah, and being a good band, people just upload songs to Spotify nowadays and expect it to just magically blow up, but it's just not the case. Get out there and play and be a good band as well.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing.
I think it's a very, very easy thing to overlook. Like, a lot of people just put up on, music on Spotify and SoundCloud, just expect to be picked up, but it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah, the world isn't going to come to you at the end of the day. Like, you got to go out and get it. Like, some I call them my armchair dreamers. They'll just happily be amazing at what they do, but not willing to try and put the effort into for people to hear it. And it's just, it doesn't work like that. It may look like that. People have done that in the past who've blown up, but I'm pretty sure that they all went out there and went looking for it.
So you said that you're aiming to record new music this year. Do you find that you enjoy the creative process and the writing process, or is that something kind of do you find that it gets in the way sometimes, or do you kind of feel like it's just a formality, or do you actually enjoy writing and putting together new material? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I enjoy it, but it's also stressful. Like, this last album was written on our days on tour, so every time we had time off with going and write and record, so we were exhausted all the time. And then it's also your second album that everyone's expecting it to be amazing, so you've got that pressure on yourself. You put pressure on yourself to make it good. But we thrive on it in a way, and I think second album was good. I think there's still more to come from us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm excited to actually have some time off to go and write instead of 3 days here or there when we're not on tour.
Yeah, so which is what you want, really. You do need that kind of creative downtime just to kind of take a bit of a breather, take a bit of time off for yourself, and then you get your kicks off it, don't you? So it's about kind of bouncing back in the right way as well.
Yeah, because you need life experience. No one can relate to being in a band on tour, really, unless you're in a band on tour.
Yeah.
So, like, writing about that is exactly the best thing. So you need to go out and actually live a little to find something to write about. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, well, that's exactly right. So speaking of living a little, I mean, we've musicians ourselves. You obviously played many shows. What, in your kind of opinion, makes a good show from a performer's kind of standpoint? Is it the crowd? Is it like being looked after at the venue? Is it the chill time afterwards? What would you say makes up a good rock show?
I think we pride ourselves on our live show and how interactive it is, like getting a lot of audience participation and making it like a show and not just a gig. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We've got a medley now in the set, which is cool, and like we have little gimmicks and I'm just playing the best that we can. I think I'm the happiest I am is when I've played a show and I've played all my parts amazingly, and most of the time I do a solo on my own every night now, and I kind of just improvise every night. Sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's pretty.
Yeah.
I like it when I've done something good.
Yeah. Well, and you come away feeling like you've played your part well, so you get that kind of enjoyment off it, don't you? So rather than it just be turn up and do what's like the bare minimum, you get a bit of extra out of it because you feel like you've done that well. Kind of to kind of round it off. So if we could take Adam, as in yourself, obviously, as you are now, and kind of send you through a time machine and put you right back, say, in 13, 14-year-old Adam's shoes, what would you say to him? So what kind of advice would you go back and give to 13-year-old Adam?
I'd say listen to more music than just Green Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I only played power chords till I was about 18, so I'd probably learn a bit more guitar theory, listen to more music, broaden my horizons a bit.
Yeah, okay.
That's probably what I'd say.
Yeah.
Because I wrote a lot of songs then, and I played a lot, but I didn't play anything more than the pop-punk, Green Day-ish sounding songs that I was writing then. So I'd just say listen to more and play a lot more.
Yeah, so kind of get different influences, work on your playing, that kind of thing. Stop playing American Idiot over and over again, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, you've been absolutely a pleasure to have on the show. We just want to say to...
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, we just want to say to anybody who's watching that please go check out the Struts. They're coming on a UK tour in October. It starts October 11th. We're going to put a link down below to where you can get tickets for that.
Yeah.
Please go check them out. They're absolutely fantastic. Adam, thank you so much for being with us today. Wow, that was really cool. I really appreciate Adam chatting to us. He's an amazing guy. We've actually been to some of the Struts shows, and they are very, very good live. So if you do get to go to some of these dates that are in the description down below, go ahead and click those and get them today, because they're going to be selling out very, very quickly.
Real quick. Thanks again, Adam, and big up the Struts. Thanks very much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about what Andy does in the industry. Now, if I wanted to reach out to anybody who wants to make money off the music industry but doesn't really want to be in an originals band by doing it per se. So, Andy, you've done quite a lot of stuff to gain quite a bit of a living off the music industry, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I think we both work and make livings from music industry, and there's plenty of people out there. So everyone, you'd obviously. The way to be a musician now isn't just be an originals band. So yeah, I'm in a couple of projects, all of which is making pretty fair money. I'm obviously not going to be like, yeah, I make millions. Paper. Balling all day. Balling all night. Because part of the sacrifice we make as musicians is that we kind of give up the strong and stable income where we get a paycheck every month, and we can walk to the bank and be like, I'm just going to buy all the champagne and caviar. Obviously, don't get me wrong, there are very many musicians who do have that, and they've worked it out very well. But we kind of give up the stability for doing something that we love. I love gigging live. I love being part of the music industry. So that is very much an unstable kind of job. So just a forewarning, anyone who thinks that this kind of job is easy, 9 times out of 10 a musician will tell you that it's the music isn't part of the job. The music is kind of the bonus. The majority of musicians are self-employed. It's rare that you come across a musician that's not a musician that's got a job. That's not what I mean. But a musician who is employed full-time as a musician. It's not really the way the industry works anymore. Very much contractor, self-employed, or running your own thing. So, for example, me and Will are both self-employed. We both do contractor work. We both do what's called deputy work, where we fill in for other band members in certain bands. All of which is very much... and then, of course, we own, Rox Music Academy. Quick plug. All the details can be found on our channel. Terms and conditions apply. I've done like voiceover work and stuff before. It's because being a vocalist by trade, my voice is where I make the money. So there's lots. It's all about having lots of different fingers in different pies. So stuff like a lot of musicians teach. That's a big part of what we do here at Rox. We run one-to-one tuition.
Yeah, quite a lot of musicians end up doing something on the side. It doesn't actually necessarily have to be like another completely different trade part-time job.
Yes.
It can be still within the music industry. I know that one of our tutors, he does a lot of debt work and things like that. And I've also known plenty of people who do like guitar tech work or
live sound,
tour management, and loads of additional things. So
agency stuff. So one of the big ways to go about it, and one of the things that I do is function work. So playing in my band, Treasure International, if you want to go hit them up on Facebook, or if you are getting married soon, or want someone to play a good jam at your wedding or party, hit us up. So I do a lot of the function circuit. I did a fair bit of the tribute circuit. I was a Michael Bublé tribute for a couple of years. So there's lots of different things that you can do. What a lot of people, the biggest kind of misconception, I think, going into the music industry, and any musician or anyone who works in the industry on a self-employed basis will tell you that it's not about having that be-all and end-all stream of revenue anymore. It's not about, I've got one job and that brings me all the money. People tend to not only have one job, they do different projects. So, for example, I'm in 3 different working musician projects. Again, we own Rox Music Academy, we do teaching, as well as I've done voiceover work in the past, and all that is different revenue streams.
What you guys need to understand is there's 2 ways you can go about the music industry. You can either go down the route of, okay, I want a big name, and I want the pop star, rock star lifestyle. Yeah. That does still exist, but it takes a lot of work to get there.
It's all about having multiple streams of revenue. It's about having lots of projects on the go, because no one makes like we talk about the 50 to 80 thousand pounds or dollars, depending on where you're listening. No one makes that kind of money anymore off just one project. And there are people who are very lucky to have that kind of project, but it's much harder to land on that.
And establish. You've got to remember that kind of like the originals band kind of format. You do have to build a reputation and a name with something that Andy does. You need to really, really build a reputation, and you also have to be worth the money that they're paying.
Exactly. And I want to get on to price setting in a moment, but one of the biggest things that we've learned in the band and the musicians that we know is that it is about having as many fingers in as many pies as possible, but at the same time not burning yourself out. So people very quickly take on far too much than they can handle between booking things, teaching, sorting out maybe a side job, a part-time job or anything like that, very quickly burning out, and very quickly music stops becoming a passion and starts becoming an effort. It's not a case of a quick buck by any means. You still need to spend the time building the repertoire, and building your network.
Money too.
You need to spend the money. So what sets your function bands apart is your promo. If you've got crappy shots and you've got rubbish like video or live video, people aren't going to pick you up because they'll be able to find acts that are much better that are around the same budget.
Hey, do you know what does really, really good promo recording?
You know who you can also get really good band shots from? Rock Studios. We've done a lot of shameless plugging today.
Sorry,
so
guys.
We're really sorry, but we want your money. So I'm a musician. That's literally what I'm talking about. So
with this being said, where's the money at?
give us your money.
No, but for real, like, there is 2 different avenues you can make good money from music.
so,
By all means, don't let parents and people and like your mum and dad be like, what's the word? Not disrespectful, but like, don't let them like rain on your parade. You can make good money off music.
Yeah. People are very quick to be like, when are you getting a real job? We both have it.
We get it all the time.
We get it all the time. And then, but what people fail to realise is that you can earn up to like there's people in our industry who are making like 4 or 5 grand a month off working 2 days a week.
Yeah, so
your Friday, Saturday, 3 days, say, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday are your working hours. And if you're making more money than they are doing their 9 to 5 every weekday, then they can't really rain on your parade.
A lot of things that I think another bit of the industry is a little bit, I won't go into depth.
Just before you do that, I just want to get on to like settling prices and stuff.
Just really quickly.
No, just really quickly.
Really quickly. No. Yeah, I just wanted to say that producers can also, like Andy just said, you can work 2 days a week and you can make a good, very, very comfortable living wage a year off recording. So that's also another, if you don't want to even sing or do anything like what we do, if you're not really a performer, that's a really, really good avenue to go down as well.
If you've got a good ear, if you like your techie side of things, production is definitely a good earner to go down as well. But moving kind of onto that, kind of onto the same kind of vein, setting prices, it's nice and easy. Don't go out for cheap. Cheap doesn't guarantee you the work. Cheap guarantees bad quality. Yeah. So if you're going
that
out,
applies to recording too.
Yeah, so if you are, so let's take a scenario. So say you're a solo singer and someone asks you to do a gig in your local town. So for example, for us, it's Birmingham in the UK. We live probably about 7 to 10 miles out of Birmingham. And if someone asked me to do a solo singer show where I've got to bring all my gear, do all the travel, all the setup, say it's 2-hour sets or something along those lines, the minimum we should be really going out is about £200. Obviously, at your discretion, but what we want to make sure we're doing is we're providing, or at least establishing our own value. Don't get me wrong, don't go out for 500, £6 million or whatever. You got to be setting competitive prices, but stuff that doesn't undermine what a musician is worth. Working for exposure is not a thing anymore. If you're doing a wedding or anything like that for exposure, ask if the caterer's doing it for exposure. Ask if the bar staff are doing it for exposure. Photographers, they don't work for exposure. Neither should musicians. This is a trade. This is a skilled job. We shouldn't be going out for less than what we think we're worth.
Totally.
That's down to you. If you're doing a family friend a favour or whatever,
that's fine.
Whatever. A cash bung is always fine.
Help your nan out.
Yeah, help your nan out if she's getting married for the 4th time.
Do it. That's fine. Don't charge your nan £500.
Or if you don't like your nan, charge your nan £500.
Or maybe double.
£1,000. At the end of the day, you're establishing what you're worth, and it's very important to maintain that. What we don't want to be doing is undermining other musicians for the sake of getting a quick buck. So and people are allowed to price hunt, people will price hunt, and people will negotiate. But it's down to your discretion. Don't undersell yourself. You shouldn't be doing gigs for £30. You shouldn't really be doing gigs for anything less than I wouldn't sell myself less than really £100 anymore, and that's got to be very local for me. So it's you've got to work out what you're worth. Don't sell yourself short. You're there to make a living at the end of the day. So again, working for exposure just isn't a thing anymore. So to kind of round off the side of the industry I'm coming from is that we should be establishing ourselves through our price point. If you go in high, people will assume you're worth that money. So if someone came to you and said, can you fill in on drums for me for a wedding in 2 weeks' time? And you go in at £300, they're going to assume you're worth that money because 9 times out of 10 you've been recommended.
So don't be bad.
So don't be bad. That is kind of rule number 1, actually. I probably should have led with that. Don't be bad. Be good at your job. So
Rehearse, practice.
Yeah, well, 100%. Develop your instrument, guys.
Do you know where there's a good practice room?
Studios. More shameless plug-in. But we're gonna kind of go around that kind of off now. We're gonna play some new music because that is what we always promise.
Yeah, I want to play somebody who kind of does both of the things that we've just spoke about. She's a very, very, very good originals artist, but she's also she does a lot of busking and a lot of function stuff as well.
Yeah, she does a weddings.
And she's quite local to here. Esther Turner.
Esther Turner.
Yeah, she's great. She's got a great voice. She's done a few shows for us here actually, and she's been really, really helpful. So thank you for that, Esther. Yeah, she's great. She's just recently put out a new song called Never Change. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to that.
This is Esther Turner, Never Change.
It's been a long time coming. I tried so many ways. No one could part us, honey. We could start a craze. Release the best in me, and now release the best in you. It's kind of a relief that we could be. Self and live the truth. 'Cause I
She's awesome, man.
Good song, man.
Like she's got a great voice.
Yeah, and the way she kind of constructs a song is really interesting as well.
Yeah. She's kind of got this like poppy thing going on that are quite.
It's also like there's an R&B vibe.
Yeah. She's got that kind of voice. So
sick.
Good job, Esther.
Sick. But that kind of rounds us out. Guys, we've had a really interesting kind of...
It has been interesting.
It's been less funny, unless you count our faces.
We haven't been very funny.
Plugin.
Should we do like the funniest thing we can think of?
3, 2, 1, go. There you go. There's your laugh for the day. But if you've got any questions or anything you want to know, anything else that you want us to kind of answer, feel free to hit us up in the comments below.
Yeah.
Share it with a friend who you think might want some help.
This might be a cool thing to do. If you guys got questions, leave them in the comments below. Drop us on Facebook or wherever you see this, and we'll do like a little Q&A about this.
We guarantee at this point that we will answer your comments. Like
100%. If we get one, we'll answer it.
We'll win. Yep. That's the Rock's promise. 100%.
If we get one, we'll answer.
It works every time. We've got a fair bit of knowledge, despite what our faces say, and the way we talk in some things. But yeah, we like to think we know kind of what we're talking about. But thanks very much for tuning in, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's the usual kind of spiel. We're going to be on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes.
We've got a really, really, really funny. Kind of commenting on this not being very funny. We've got a really funny YouTube video coming up.
We've got some interesting stuff in
and it's going to be hot.
So, audio listeners, please feel free to drop us a review on Spotify and iTunes. It does help. And just share it with all your friends, all those musician friends, or your non-musician friends. Maybe you can convince them.
Yeah.
Take the jump, guys. Quit your job. Get the fear.
Yeah, feel the fear.
Do it.
Do it anyway.
Do it. You
can
come to us and say it's our fault that your life's falling apart because you quit your job.
Don't do that.
It. Just do it. Just quit your job.
We're not held responsible for any sort of damage of gear or reputation. Thank you.
Do it. Thanks very much, guys. This has been the Rox TV ROXcast. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Goodbye.